Welcome to the Central and Eastern European Rotax Max Championship here from the Pannonia-ring in Hungary. We are now about to get the green flag lap for the Rotax Junior Max final. We had a very exciting pre-final. Now we have a 17-lap final. And starting on pole position was the very dominant Thomas Preining. Second place will be Max Hofer. On the second row we'll have Richard Verschoor and Janis Slavinsky. On the third row is Maciej Krupek and Daniel Machajczyk as they come round, getting themselves into position, lining up, making sure that they're not going to be out of position and get any kind of penalty. We've seen one or two of those already here today, and not in this race, I'll hasten to add. But is Thomas Preining able to continue his dominance from the pre-final? He wasn't racing in Jesolo, Italy, but he certainly has been very prominent here today. This is the Junior Max, so it's drivers aged 13 to 16 years. As the green flag is given and off, they tear into the distance. And is that Thomas Preining that's managed to take that lead straight away from the start? Because we did have the incident where Mick Verschoor managed to take the lead in that first race, but on that first lap a number of bits of contact meant that he ended up not even finishing, unfortunately. But it does mean that he's going to be starting at the back of the grid for this race, so is he going to be able to get him through? Bearing in mind that's 24 karts racing in this race, so that's a lot of work for him to do, but how far up can he get himself? Mick Verschoor, keep an eye for that kart number 388. But at the moment at the front of the pack, it is picking up where he left off really for Thomas Preining. Managed to pull himself away already. Not the same that can be said for the second place, which appears to be Richard Verschoor's in second at the moment. So he's managed to jump ahead of Max Hofer, but largely those lot are all together. It's a big train of the cars. Oh, and I think we had a move being made there. Was that Max Hofer managing to get past Richard Verschoor? We'll have to see. Remember, in the first race it was second for Max Hofer and third for Richard Verschoor, but Richard Verschoor certainly had that second position when they completed their first lap. I don't think it's the end of the entertainment in this race, that's for sure. In fact, yes it was. Max Hofer has got himself up into that second position. The white and blue kart of Max Hofer is up there already. It's kart number 390, that's Laszlo Toth, as they come across to complete the second of this 17-lap race. So another 15 laps still to go. Plenty of action that we can expect in this yet. And Thomas Preining's desperate to get that buffer in. You saw what he did last time was that he built up about a 2-second lead and just stepped ever so slightly off the pace. He was the only driver to get down into the 45s, but he dropped it down to 46 1s, 46 2s once he knew that he was 2 seconds ahead, and that basically largely maintained that gap. So he's probably going to be looking to get the job done as soon as possible, build up that lead, and then he knows that the pressure's off him, including if he then encounters any back markers, he doesn't have to panic too much in getting past them too quick. Comes through to complete third lap, and it is second place Max Hofer, who's just managed to pull away ever so slightly from Richard Verschoor there. Richard Verschoor running in third position from Holland, and he is 13 years old. Looking to continue. He had 2 second positions in Jesolo, Italy, so he's got a third in the pre-final, so he's going to want to get himself ahead of Max Hofer if he can. And he started karting in 2009, and in fact he's raced in the World Finals, European Championships, international events and national level. There really is some fantastic talent in this, and bearing in mind this is 13 to 15 year olds, so this is the stars of the future that we're watching as our leader Thomas Preining comes through to complete the fourth lap, puts in the fastest lap of the race, and has managed to get it up to 1.6 second lead already. So as I say, head down, getting himself to build up to at least a 2-second lead. That seems to be at the very least his comfort blanket, is to make it a 2-second lead, and then he'll just enjoy himself. I think we've got a retirement already, unfortunately, which was Nicolas Sabo, started in 10th and has retired from the race, I'm afraid to say. In fact, it looks like he didn't even complete a lap. So he did start, but he obviously had an issue on that opening lap, I'm afraid to say. So yeah, great talent on display. I mean, especially this top three: Thomas Preining, Max Hofer, Richard Verschoor. There's no question of those. But
what you'll see is that they're just the names that are obvious to remember because they've raced in a lot of things, but they're not leaving any of the rest of the cars. Oh, that was a big step off there, kicked up some major dust, bit of a panic, bit of a look behind, make sure that everything was okay, but shows pushing very, very hard. 1.8 second lead at the moment after 5 laps. Remember, this is a 17 lap race, so we've still got another 12 laps left to go. What is the state of play behind? Max Hoffer's gotten himself into a fairly lonely second position now. It's nearly a second gap back to Richard Verschoor, but Richard Verschoor hasn't got a lonely third position, that's for sure. No pun intended there. But yeah, you'll see Richard Verschoor in that third position has got everybody else basically all over him behind. In fourth position, it is kart number 324, Janis Slavinsky. And then it is, I think we've got 330 Daniel Makaric is currently in that 5th position. What have we got? Where's Mick Vischoffer? Where's Mick Vischoffer got himself to? So up to 11th position after only 6. Wow, after only 6 laps, he's got himself from 24th to 11th position already. So Mick Vischoffer showing that clearly it wasn't his fault that he had a DNF in that first one. I'm not sure whether it was a mechanical fault or whether it was accident. He certainly was bumping with a few people, but it almost looked as if he was being swallowed up with an issue to start with. So it's difficult to take cause or effect. We'll have to wait and see for that one. But he's certainly building his way up through the grid at the moment. Another fastest lap posted that last time round, 7th lap by our leader Thomas Preining. He's got it, well actually 1.5, but we did see stepping off onto the dust, so that kind of eroded a little bit of that lead. So because I think he got himself up to about 1.8 second lead previously, but still not enough for him to worry about. He's showing his class, he's showing his dominance. Richard Verschoor in that 3rd position is only 0.2 seconds ahead of the 4th position, which is Janis Slavinsky. So Richard Verschoor is certainly being made to work hard, which all the while is enabling Max Hoffer to just edge away in that 2nd position, but he's not able to make any inroads onto our leader Thomas Preining. 1.9 seconds now after 8 laps. So we're nearly at half distance because we've got 9 laps remaining. In fact, we're probably at half distance now. We're halfway through this lap. So that's 8.5 gone, 8.5 to go. Remember, the winner of this final gets the big points. It is the 2nd round. We move on to Poland for the next round. And then Austria after that. And of course the winner gets to go to the grand finals in Valencia in November. So there's all to play for here, and our leader Thomas Preining, after not being at that opening round in Italy, is really having to make sure that it takes maximum points here. So far it's exactly what he's doing. You can't fault him. You see the gap is nice and comfortable for Thomas Preining back to Max Hoffer. Just wait to see what the gap was. Well, he's got it over that 2 seconds, 2.16 seconds. He's lapping in 46s, so he's not going quite as fast. In fact, the fastest lap of the race by Thomas Preining is a 46.3. So he's not managing to get himself down to the 45s this time, which is interesting. Is he going to be able to do that before the end of the race? We'll have to wait and see. There we see, was that... Yeah, Richard Verschoor with kart number 324, Janis Slavinsky, all over the back of him. So Slavinsky is not letting him go. He's determined to get onto that podium, and Richard Verschoor is not going to want to let that happen because he's already got Max Hoffer cantering away from him, let alone Thomas Preining just dominating at the front of this field at the moment. As he comes through, we have completed 10 laps, 7 laps remaining, and I think we're just about to come round any second to complete the 11th lap. No, I keep getting my bearings wrong watching the TV footage, and he will be fairly soon. Yeah, he has completed his 11th lap now. And the camera's at a different angle, it always throws me. But we do have Thomas Preining kart 311 still in the lead of this race. 2nd still Max Hoffer. Third, just about Richard Verschoor hanging on to that third step of the podium with Janis Slavinski in very close attention in that fourth. Who have we got in fifth at the moment? We got Daniel Maciejczyk is in fifth position at the moment. Where's Mick Verschofer got himself up to at the moment? Wait for the clock to tick back over, the screen to click over. Ninth position from 24th on the grid as our leader comes through to complete the 12th lap, so 5 laps remaining. I meant to have a quick look and see what he'd got that lead up to this time, but it flicked over before I cast my eye that way along. There we go, 2.587 seconds. Still in the 46s, 46.3. So the fastest lap so far by Thomas Preining is a 46.302. So still not managed to get down into the 45s at the moment. So that's interesting. The track doesn't appear to be quite as fast as it was in the pre-final. Let's see what Richard Verschoor's managed to get the gap to 0.3 back to the fourth place Janis Slavinski. We've now completed 13 laps, 4 laps remaining. There we go, there's that battle for the third position. And it looks like we've got a good battle for 6th position backwards. That's Niklas Scholl and Mick Verschofer up to 7th position from 24th on the grid. And he's up there mixing it, there's no question. He's going to try and get himself even closer. He's all over the back of, I think that was Maciejczyk at the moment. No, it's Niklas Scholl at the moment he's all over the back of, but those three were all pretty close together at the moment. Richard Verschoor still only 0.3 ahead of Slavinski, so Slavinski is desperate to get onto that podium and he's really battling hard. Our leader only has 3 laps remaining. Put in the fastest lap of the race that last time round, a 46.2. He's taken it up to 2.9, so has he decided that his comfort blanket's now the 3 seconds, not just the 2 seconds? And here he comes round. See in the foreground, there we go, just flashing through in the foreground there was that battle for that third position. You saw how close they are still. And then actually in the foreground that time, coming through the corners, we saw the battle for that fourth, no, was it 5th, 6th, 7th, I think it was? Yeah, because 3rd and 4th are battling already, so Maciejczyk, Scholl and Verschofer absolutely glued together. May have been an optical illusion, but it looked as though potentially it had become a 4-way battle rather than just a 3-way. New fastest lap by Thomas Preining. That's interesting. He's not comfortable with the lead. I think he's decided that this is the last race of the day for him. He's having some fun because he's just putting in faster, faster, faster. 46.1 as he goes on to his penultimate lap. Is he going to be able to get himself down into the 45s? That's going to be the interesting thing. Max Hofer in second, 2.5 seconds ahead of the third place Richard Verschoor, who's still only about 0.3 ahead of Slavinski. So those two are still fighting away like Billio. And then it is Maciejczyk, Niklas Scholl, Mick Verschofer, and indeed Jumanovic is joined in that battle. So it is a 4-way battle. I thought it was in the foreground. As our leader now goes on to final lap. And there goes Max Hofer in that lonely second place. I don't suppose he'll be too disappointed. I'm sure he'd prefer to be at the front, but at least he's ahead of everybody else. 46.070 on that penultimate lap. So new fastest lap, but still not a 45. So it'll be interesting to see, is he going to be able to get into the 45s? He did just have to encounter a back marker that time round. So there's a potential that he's not going to be able to do it. We'll have to keep an eye on that at the moment, though. Niklas Scholl has got himself up to 5th position ahead of Maciejczyk. So Verschofer still in that 7th position, but there was a change. And here we go, checkered flag. Thomas Preining, double victory, outstanding performance. What's the gap going to be back to that second? You can see he put his finger up to the camera there as he came past. 3.8 seconds back to Max Hofer. Richard Verschoor in 3rd position. And then it was Slavinski. Very, very close. Literally, what, 0.3 all the way to the end. Slavinski in that 4th position. Niklas Scholl managed to take that 5th position away from Daniel Maciejczyk on that. It was either on the last lap or the penultimate lap. So great performance there. Mick Verschofer from 24th on the grid up to 7th. Great performance. Karol Jurmanovic in 8th position. Krupek in 9th. In 10th we've got Simon Slivolski from 13th on the grid, and 11th was Silvers Laszlo, and in 12th was Garbacz Volchek, Felix Kotic, Mikhail Stabinski, Adam Vince, David Nemec, and that's your top 16. 2 non-finishers, Pavel Taborski and Nicholas Sabo, unfortunately did not finish the race. Great final for the Rotax Max Junior.